Welcome back. Today, we're going into some really unsettling territory. We've got a collection of true stories where celebrations just went sideways. Chillingly sideways. These aren't made up. They're real accounts drawn from personal experiences. A lot of them actually come from the YouTube channel Mr. Nightmare. So our plan today isn't just to retell these. We want to share the raw details, the suspense, but also maybe touch on, how things can shift so fast, how that feeling of safety just vanishes. Okay, let's get into the first one. This involves a 19th birthday. Started out pretty chill, just celebrating with friends. It was July, so those long summer days. It didn't get really dark until maybe 9 p.m. And that's when they decided to head out to this massive state park nearby. Or the plan was kind of, risky. They wanted to go night off-roading on trails that were technically off limits. But their friend Jay, he had a Jeep, and he'd done it before, apparently. Knew that usually no one's back in those woods late at night. So for the celebration part, they brought some weed, a handle of vodka. The idea was to basically hotbox the Jeep way out in the woods. But Jay, the driver, he stayed completely sober, which turned out to be pretty crucial later on. Getting into the park itself wasn't hard. The main entrance was coned off, but, easy enough to move one and slip the Jeep around. They kept an eye out for cops, obviously. Then drove down this really narrow one-way road, woods on both sides. It eventually opened up into this big open parking lot, woods on three sides, then baseball fields and a playground on the other. And Jay knew exactly where the trails were. They were walking trails technically, but wide enough for the Jeep. So they double-checked, no cops around, pulled onto the trail. Jay flicked on his brights. And at first it was fun, like a bumpy ride, kind of like an amusement park thing in some spots. Someone named Carl, he lit up a joint, he'd roll, pass it around. Everyone just enjoying the ride, the music. Okay, but this is where things take a turn. They're deep in the trails now. Jay stops the Jeep, kills the engine, turns off the headlights. Total darkness, except for maybe the dash lights. Music's still playing pretty loud, actually. They're passing the bottle. And then, over the music, they all heard it. It's a high-pitched screaming sound outside, which is weird, right? With the music so loud. But yeah, they all heard it. Everything just stopped. They look at each other like, did you hear that? What was that? Da, da, da. Jay immediately kills the music. Silence. And yeah, they all agreed it sounded like a scream. High-pitched. So Jay, thinking fast, flips the headlights back on, scans the area in front of them. Nothing. Nobody there. Still, the mood was, kind of ruined. They decided to push on a bit further down the trail, tried to rationalize the sound away. Maybe a fox, like a female fox scream. That's what they told themselves. So they stopped again, chilled for a bit. Music back on, but lower this time, making some mixed drinks. At one point, trying to lighten the mood, I guess, the friends all started singing "Happy Birthday" really loud, kind of as a joke. Then, a little later, the birthday person, the one telling the story, needed to pee. So they get out, step maybe 5-10 feet off the trail into the woods, and right in the middle of, they swear they hear footsteps. Close by. Too close. Yeah, that's unnerving. Totally. They cut it short, immediately scrambled back to the Jeep, told everyone what they heard. So Jay, hearing this, hits the headlights again. Yeah. And that's unset. That's when it happened. The birthday person and Jay, in the front seats, they saw it first. They screamed. Maybe 10 feet ahead of the Jeep, just standing there. On the side of the trail, it was a woman, hood up, just standing there, motionless, staring. Jay, even though they're all freaked out, he actually rolls down his window, heels out "You all right?" No answer. The woman slowly backs up, deeper into the woods, until she just vanished from the headlight beams.
And what's so potent there is that instant switch. You go from this, maybe illicit, but still fun, celebratory vibe, to immediate, visceral threat. That hooded figure, especially in July, it just defies logic. It triggers something deep, that uncanny feeling. Right. Your brain flags it as wrong.
You're so right. It's that complete break from what makes sense that makes it terrifying. And it didn't stop there. Carl, in the back seat, who was apparently, quote, zonked out of his mind, he suddenly screams, he yells, "Guys, we're surrounded." Everyone whips their heads around, looking everywhere. And yeah, there were at least 3 other people, dressed the same way, sweaters, hoods up, standing on different sides of the Jeep, just off the trail, all of them just staring at the car. And again, it's July, it's warm out, no reason for sweaters and hoods.
Just standing there, that's incredibly unnerving. The lack of movement, the staring.
Exactly. And then Carl screams again, makes him look towards the back. There's a man standing right outside the back windshield, looking in. And the taillights, the red glow, it casts this really creepy red light on his face, which they described as having a deadpan expression, just blank. That's when the birthday person just lost it, screaming, "Get us out of here, just go, go!" Jay, being sober, thankfully, didn't hesitate. He slammed the Jeep into drive and just gunned it, speeding over rocks, bumps, whatever was on that trail, as fast as he could possibly go. They said the trail just felt endless on the way out, just this terrifying, bumpy ride in the dark. Until finally, pavement, the relief was just like immense, overwhelming. And Jay was firm, straight home, party's over, no more celebrating tonight. Later, they obviously talked about it, tried to make sense of it. Could it have been just other kids hanging out?
But the behavior doesn't fit, does it? The staring, the stillness, the inappropriate clothing.
Right, and why stand right behind the car, looking in? It didn't add up. And that scream they heard earlier, they realized it probably wasn't a fox after all. It was likely connected to those people. Needless to say, they never went off-roading in those woods at night, ever again. Not after that. Okay, so from deep woods, let's shift gears. Our next story happens in a much more seemingly innocent place, a kid's birthday party.
Yeah, this one involves a tea room. They did, like, princess parties. This was for the storyteller's little sister's 5th birthday. The storyteller themselves was almost 12, 6th grade, and they definitely did not want to be part of the babyish princess stuff. So to avoid it all, they were just sitting in a chair out in the hallway, playing on their DS, trying to be invisible, basically. And while they're focused on their game, this random woman walks up. She asks, pretty casually, "Hey, you're Gloria's kid, right?" Gloria was their mom's name. So, yeah, they confirm. The woman says she's Aunt Sarah, claims they probably don't remember her because they were too little last time they met. Standard stuff, right? Starts asking about how big they've gotten, how school's going.
And the storyteller, they're used to these kinds of chats with distant relatives or family friends, so they didn't really question it, just gave polite answers. Then Aunt Sarah says something that sets off alarm bells later. She says she brought this big dollhouse for the sister's birthday present, and she needs help carrying it in from her car, and she adds, a little incentive. Says she also brought another cake, and if the storyteller helps with the dollhouse, they can have the first slice.
And this is where it gets tricky, especially for a young person. It's leveraging politeness, familiarity. Mentioning the mom's name establishes a connection. The gift, the cake, it all seems plausible within that family party context. It's designed to lower defenses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the storyteller, even though they were almost 12 and they knew about creeps, they literally called it an almost textbook kidnapping scenario.
Yeah.
In their head, they still hesitated. Because these kinds of interactions did happen with actual family. Plus, they admitted something important. They trusted Sarah more because she was a woman, which is a bias predators can exploit.
Yeah.
So despite the internal flags, they agreed. They followed Aunt Sarah out the back door towards the parking lot. But outside, things felt immediately wrong. The car wasn't parked in a spot. It was just idling, running. And there was a man in the driver's seat already. Sarah seemed to notice their hesitation, maybe saw them looking at the man. She quickly said, "Oh, that's just Uncle Dennis." Then she rushed them, saying they needed to hurry with the dollhouse before the frosting on her cake melted, trying to distract them. This huge gut feeling just washed over the storyteller, a really bad one. Why hadn't Sarah asked Uncle Dennis to help carry this supposed dollhouse? Why was the car running when there were empty parking spots everywhere? They just froze, refused to go any closer to the car. And Sarah's whole demeanor changed. Her voice became, as they put it, much less friendly. She started demanding they come to the car. She even grabbed their jacket sleeve, tried to pull them. The storyteller reacted, swatted her hand away, yelled, "Stop!"
Sarah looked furious, and for a terrifying second it looked like Dennis in the driver's seat was actually about to get out of the car.
That's the critical moment. When the manipulation fails, the mask slips, and the aggression comes out.
Absolutely. But thankfully, right at that moment, they heard shouting from inside the tea room. It was their mom and their aunt yelling their name, loudly. Sarah didn't hesitate. She jumped straight into the passenger seat, and the car just sped off, gone. The storyteller ran back inside, met their mom and aunt who were rushing out. They immediately told them everything that just happened. Their mom just hugged them tight, kept apologizing, saying it was okay now. The aunt went straight to the tea room staff. They put the place on lockdown immediately, gathered all the kids in one room, did a head count, made sure no one else was missing. Thankfully, everyone else was accounted for. The police came, took the storyteller's statement, got descriptions of Sarah and Dennis. The officers said they'd let the family know if they found anything, but they never heard back. Nothing.
Which is unfortunately common in cases like this. They likely weren't using real names.
Yeah. As far as the storyteller knows, they were never caught. And they still have no clue how Sarah knew their mom's name, which is maybe the creepiest part. But they're just incredibly grateful they listened to that gut feeling and didn't get any closer to that car. Okay, for our final account, this one is maybe even more invasive. It involves a 21st birthday party. The birthday person's uncle was pretty wealthy, had this amazing house right on the water, huge backyard, pool the works. Uncle was out of town for the month, so he let the birthday person use the backyard for a big 21st bash. Right, 21st birthday. So the plan was go crazy, invited all their friends, told them to invite their friends, just, Bring your own beer. Party starts around 8 p.m. They set up music using the uncle's outdoor surround sound system. But there was one very strict rule. Stay out of the house. Backyard only. Unless you absolutely had to use the bathroom, then okay, but that's it. Well, things got out of hand pretty fast. Way more people showed up than expected. Like, most of the invited friends brought extra people, and then just random groups started walking in through the gates. The birthday person didn't recognize it all. They kind of just assumed, okay, everyone must know someone here, right? But with easily over 80 people crammed into the backyard, they start getting anxious, worried about the cleanup, worried about damage, worried about who was actually going into the house for the bathroom, you know? Tried to keep an eye on it, but it's hard when it's your party. The party got even more packed before it finally started to thin out. Eventually, the police showed up. Multiple noise complaints from neighbors. So, cops shut it down, told everyone to clear out, except for a small group of close friends the birthday person vouched for. Maybe 10 of them hung out by the pool for a bit longer. Then that group dwindled until it was just the birthday person and one friend, Rob. And Rob was described as blackout drunk, completely gone. Now, the uncle had been very clear, nobody stays over, no exceptions. But the birthday person looked at Rob, totally unconscious, basically, and thought, oh, what's the harm? Just him. He can crash on the couch. So they helped Rob inside. He pretty much just collapsed onto the living room couch, barely responsive, just groaned if they tried talking to him. So they left him there, went back outside, locked both the side gates, locked the back door of the house, did a quick check of the downstairs bathroom. Wasn't too trash, just some empty beer cans, then headed upstairs to sleep. They remember thinking it was weird the uncle was so strict about sleepovers when the house had, like, 4 extra bedrooms upstairs. It was a big place. Anyway, brushed their teeth, went into one of the upstairs bedrooms, and passed out pretty quickly themselves, being fairly drunk too. Fast forward about an hour, they wake up, feeling super nauseous. Mixed too many drinks, you know how it is. After getting sick in the upstairs bathroom, they walked back out onto the upstairs landing, this balcony area that overlooked the big foyer downstairs, and that's when they heard it. Footsteps. Downstairs. In the foyer.
And this is that chilling shift we talked about. The chaos is over, the house should be quiet, empty, except for them and Rob. So any unexpected sound becomes instantly terrifying. It's the invasion of that presumed safety.
Exactly. That's precisely it. The house felt secure, locked down, but it wasn't. So they creep over to the railing, look down into the dark foyer below. They whisper, "Rob!" trying to see if maybe he woke up and stumbled around. And the figure down there stops moving, just stops. They couldn't see features, it was too dark, but they got the distinct feeling the person was now looking up at them. And then they heard snoring, coming from the downstairs living room, where they left Rob.
Oh, wow. So definitely not Rob in the foyer.
Definitely not Rob. The chilling realization hits. There's someone else in the house. Someone who shouldn't be there. Panic starts setting in. They manage to say, louder this time, "Who is that?" Still maybe hoping it's just another drunk guest who hid somewhere. No answer. Just silence from the foyer. But then, more footsteps. From the kitchen area, also downstairs.
Plural. More than one person.
Yes. Hearts pounding like crazy now. They try to act casual, call out, "Okay, well, I'm going back to sleep." But the real plan was, get back in the bedroom, lock the door, call 911 immediately. But just as they turn to go back, they remember Rob. He's downstairs, vulnerable, asleep. They feel like they have to warn him somehow, so they pull out their phone, call Rob's number. Someone picks up, but before the birthday person can even say anything, they just yell "Rob" into the phone. Maybe 3 times. Nothing. Just breathing on the other end of the line. Heavy breathing. Then the call disconnects.
So whoever was downstairs had Rob's phone.
Seems like it. They hang up, instantly dial 911. They're whispering to the operator, explaining the situation, trying to stay quiet. And while they're on the phone with 911, the doorknob to their bedroom starts twisting, back and forth. Then, a light knock on the door. Oh my god, yeah. They whisper to the 911 operator, "Should I tell them I'm on the phone with you, with the police?" The operator says, "No. Don't announce my presence. Stay quiet." Then they ask about Rob again. "What about my friend downstairs?" The operator pauses, clearly unsure, then says something like, "Just wait in the room until police arrive. If they think your friend is asleep, they probably wouldn't harm him." The birthday person said they knew even the operator didn't have a perfect answer, but staying locked in the room seemed like the only real option. A few minutes later, which must have felt like an eternity, the operator says police are on scene. They're trying the front and back doors. The cops get in through the back door, which apparently the intruders had left unlocked or open when they came in, or maybe when they left. Only then, when the police were actually inside, did the operator tell the birthday person it was safe to come downstairs. They rush down, wake up Rob, who's still completely out of it, drunk and confused. They explain everything to the police right there while Red just kind of listens, trying to piece it together. The police searched the whole house, but because it wasn't the birthday person's house, they couldn't immediately tell if anything was actually stolen. The uncle's main bedroom was locked, thankfully, and he didn't really keep valuables just lying around downstairs. So the police finished their search, said they'd keep a patrol car nearby for the rest of the night, which was some comfort. The birthday person, understandably, didn't tell their uncle about any of this until much later. The uncle called asking if they'd seen his Cartier watch. He kept it in a kitchen drawer, apparently.
So something was taken.
Yep, stolen right out of the kitchen drawer. That's when the whole story had to come out. The uncle was, well, furious is probably putting it mildly. He never asked for the money for the watch back, but he made it crystal clear, no more parties. Ever. And really, can you blame him after that? Intruders in the house during a party?
Yes.
Just terrifying. So those are 3 stories that started as celebrations, but took some incredibly dark turns. They really show how quickly that sense of safety we often take for granted can just evaporate, how vulnerable we can be even in places or situations that feel familiar or secure.
Absolutely. From being isolated in the woods to that manipulation attempt at a kid's party to the literal invasion of a home, they all highlight different kinds of threats. But the common thread seems to be the importance of awareness and really truly listening to your instincts when something feels off. That gut feeling is often right.
We really hope these accounts gave you something to think about, maybe something chillingly memorable. These real stories can be more impactful than fiction sometimes. If you found these stories compelling and you want more unsettling true accounts, please do like this, share it, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.
It helps us keep bringing these stories to light.
Until next time, please stay safe out there, and always, always trust your gut.